Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Our last guests are here to share the richness of being wordsmiths, representing an organization that elevates youth voices as leaders at the intersection of the literary arts and civic engagement. Here to share more, please welcome to the show Urban Word New York City Executive Director Shanelle Gabriel and 2022 New York City Youth Poet Laureate Elizabeth Shvarts. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us here.
Well, thank you for being here with us. And let's start by congratulating Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, so we wanted to bring you in to the floor right away. I know you're going to be performing for us later, but Shanelle, let's talk a little bit about what that means to our next generation, right? And also, give us a little background on Urban Word.
I'm so happy to. So Urban Word NYC has been around since 1999, and we are the premier youth poetry organization believing poetry, hip hop, the arts leads to social justice, civic engagement, youth development, and we believe that it also leads as a path to literacy. So a lot of the work we do is offer workshops, free workshops for young people across the city. Now that some of our programming is virtual, we have young people from all over the world joining in with each other, learning more about the arts. And we're also the founder of the National Youth Poet Laureate program, which has other sites. New York City is ours. It started here about 10 years ago. And we our first National Youth Poet Laureate was actually the Amanda Gorman. So
the Amanda Gorman.
You're big when you have a article in front of your name. So but that was in 2017. And since then, we've named 5 other National Youth Poet Laureates since her. And yeah, that's really Urban Word's goal, to uplift and give young people platforms for their voice. They deserve it. They're amazing.
So, I know, and I can see it in the enthusiasm in which you're relaying all of this. And before we speak to Elizabeth, I just want you to share what kind of transformation you've witnessed serving as the executive director.
Definitely. So a lot of the young people that come to our programming, especially because our main programming, we're headquartered in New York, so we serve the New York area. We're in schools, Title I schools all over the city, as well as young people that are in charter and private schools. And we see that young people develop a love of learning by realizing and seeing their own voices and narratives be uplifted in the poetry that we share, that we allow them to share and create. And in showing that, a lot of young people come out and say, hey, I want to write more. I want to read more. I want to learn more. Maybe I'll go and continue in higher education. So there's so many ways that we've seen young people come very shy, or they're shy at school, but not shy with us, and just trying to find more ways to let young people know that their voices matter.
Right, regardless of what their background is, right? Because New York is so diverse, and it's lovely that you can all come together and kind of find that similarities within the differences. And so, Elizabeth, congratulations once again on becoming the 2022 NYC Youth Poet Laureate. And please do share, what kind of responsibilities does that entail?
Yeah, thank you so much, Rhina. When I got Youth Poet Laureate, I was honestly floored with gratitude and also excited. New York City Youth Poet Laureate is interesting because it's the intersection of arts and advocacy, and I get to work with New York City Votes to increase civic engagement among youth, to show them that you can be active in the voting process and also not have to vote. You can make your voice heard through mobilizing community protests. And I think that's like one of the most important things we learned, like during YPL, was that you don't have to be 30 and have a job and all these other qualifications to make a difference. And also highlighting different issues that are important to me and important to the New York City community. For example, menstrual equity and the climate crisis, and queer joy. And those are all issues that are important to me. And being able to highlight that through art, especially spoken word, which I think is like the most accessible form of writing and of art, it's just amazing, and it brings people together and it inspires them to do more research about these issues and see how it affects them in their own lives, and take charge in their own way.
Oh my gosh, how old are you again?
I'm 17.
Unbelievable. You are so impressive, and you know, we don't have very much time, but I would be remiss if we didn't mention that you're also the co-founder and co-director of Bridge to Literacy. I mean, at 17.
Yeah, it's another literary nonprofit similar to Urban Word, except we focus more on literacy lessons through one-on-one mentorship, and we connect over 150 volunteers and students to each other across 6 continents and 20 countries, and we foster a love of language through literacy and hands-on lessons and culturally centered lessons, something that's not really found a lot in the American education system, and also just in general around the world. As someone who grew up with a love for reading and also a former spelling bee nerd, I'm still kind of a nerd, but now like I can't spell when I text. But yeah, it was I started with my friend and I've been doing it for about 2.5 years, and it's honestly amazing to be able to spark so much joy and empower people through literacy in different ways, like as youth poet laureate and also as working for Bridge to Literacy.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. It's so fulfilling. And I'm just like, I feel so hopeful just listening to her. I can imagine how you feel every day working with these individuals.
Oh no, I love the work that I get to do. I love the work that I get to see our young people doing. And all I want to do is give platforms like any opportunity I can. And thank you so much for giving Elizabeth and Urban Word and Bridge for Literacy a platform as well. I just want to like highlight all of the things so that when they do our programs for ages 13 through 19, so when young people do age out, they feel at least they're better prepared or more prepared, or have other things under their belt that they can take with them in whatever they do.
And so before we go, if someone were interested in programming, is there a process, a registration process? Is there a time period in which they can join with Urban Word NYC?
Well, we have workshops and events, programs that happen throughout the year, from our Black Girl Magic Ball, which happens in March, to we're going to be announcing the next National Youth Poet Laureate in May. And even the process of the New York City Youth Poet Laureate program happens in the fall, and our Summer Institute. So it's all year round. If they just go to urbanword.org, they will know whatever is going on. Please sign up for our mailing list and you'll get a nice email knowing all of the cool things we do, as well as our partner organizations that we work with.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shanelle. So before we go, Elizabeth, I know you're going to be performing for us. What exactly are you going to be presenting for our viewers today?
So even though this program is called Bronx Net, I'm reading a poem about Staten Island, and it's called When You Tell Me Staten Island Should Have Seceded a Long Time Ago.
It's all good. You know, we're borough friendly. Okay. At the end of the day, we're all New York. Thanks for being with us. 2022 NYC Youth Poet Laureate Elizabeth Shvarts is going to be presenting when we return, so don't go anywhere. Once again, Shanelle Gabriel, Executive Director at Urban Word NYC. Thank you for being with us. And like I said, Elizabeth's going to perform when we return, so don't go anywhere.